The 8 expendables, or 8 bullets of the Hassaikai, depending on which one you want to call them, are select members of the Shie Hassaikai, a Yakuza organization led by Kai Chisaki, who are the main antagonists of the Overhaul arc in the manga and season 4 of the anime. Besides being one of the main antagonists in the series, Horikoshi wrote the Shie Hassaikai as symbolism for Buddhism. Shie Hassaikai, when translated, means the 8 precepts of death. In Buddhism, the 8 precepts are a set of strict moral guidelines that are to be followed by the most serious of Buddhists. Each of the 8 expendables individually represents one of the 8 precepts in a twisted way from either their quirk or personality. As for Overhaul, he is supposed to represent Buddha. In today's video, I will be going in depth on Horikoshi's twisted take on Buddhism and the 8 precepts, and sort of explain why each expendable fits into each precept. Side note, while doing research for this video, I found out that there are different branches of Buddhism that are all similar but diverge in different ways. So if I say something that doesn't fit with a certain type of Buddhism that you know, then just know that it could have came from one of the other types of Buddhism. Now, I'm not going to break down everything on Buddhism, but Buddhism is mainly the path one takes to enlighten themselves. And in Buddhism, enlightenment means to understand the true nature of everything around you, including yourself, and is the key to finding unconditional happiness. In this religion, the Buddha is claimed to be the first ever person to have reached full enlightenment, passing on his teachings to those that followed. In the case of My Hero Academia, Kai Chisaki can be seen as the Buddha in this situation, since Overhaul saw quirks as a sickness due to the in-universe theory of quirks originating from mice carrying an undiscovered virus. To him, he was the only one who truly saw that quirks were a disease. This would make him enlightened to the true nature of quirks. The 8 expendables followed him because he gave them purpose, and they even don masks similar to Overhaul's plague mask. Now, the reason why they don masks is because Overhaul doesn't want to breathe the same air as the other expendables. Now, earlier I said that the 8 expendables each represent a twisted version of the 8 precepts through either their quirks or personality. So let's get to breaking down how each expendable fits in with each precept. For the first precept is that one must not take a life. The expendable that represents this precept the most is Kendo Rappa. Kendo Rappa heavily contradicts this precept with his personality, wanting the satisfaction of having his life on the line in battle, and won't be fully satisfied unless him or his opponent is dead and gave it their all. You could say that each of the 8 expendables are willing to kill and fall under this precept, but Rappa seeks it out the most, and is the only reason why he joined Overhaul, wanting to get that death match and defeat Overhaul himself so that way he could be satisfied. The second precept is to never take what is not given, meaning that one must not steal. Toya Setsuno represents this precept the most through his quirk. Funny enough, his quirk is called larceny, which the definition of larceny means theft of personal property. His quirk allows him to take an object that he sees on his opponent. Once he sees the object that he wants, that object will instantly come towards him and be in his hands. He can even steal equipment manifested by quirks, as shown in chapter 140 when he took Sun Eater's shell. The third precept is one must avoid any sexual contact. Rikia Katsukame is the expendable that represents this precept the most through his quirk and fight against Ryukyu's team. Katsukame's quirk, Vitality Stealing, allows him to steal the vitality from others, making him physically grow bigger and become stronger. But he can only do this through physical contact with someone, then inhaling their vitality. His fight against Ryukyu's all-female team that consisted of Ochako, Froppy, Nejiri, and Ryukyu herself is a clear analogy to the precept due to Katsukame being a male with his quirk needing to physically touch someone in order to work, and Ryukyu's team being all female. And I don't think I really need to explain how a male and a female is contradicting with the precept. The fourth precept is one must not lie. Shin Nemoto is the expendable that represents this precept the most through his quirk. Shin's quirk, Confession, allows him to force people to answer his questions with their true feelings. Basically, whoever's getting questioned by Nemoto cannot lie to him when answering. The fifth precept is one must avoid toxicants that cause a careless mind, meaning no alcohol or any types of drugs. Dataro Sakaki is the expendable that represents this precept the most through his quirk and personality. Dataro is a huge alcoholic. When we first see him in his fight against Mirio, he appears with a bottle of alcohol in his hand while drinking it upside down. His quirk, Sloshed, makes it so that anyone who approaches him loses their sense of equilibrium, making them feel as if they are drunk. The sixth precept is that one must not eat food at the wrong time, which means you can't overeat. Soramitsu Tabe is the expendable that represents this precept the most through his quirk and personality. Soramitsu's quirk, Food, allows his teeth to easily chew through anything and consume basically anything. His stomach is also able to digest whatever he has eaten in a flash. Due to this, Soramitsu is always hungry. The seventh precept is one must not wear jewelry, makeup, or dance. Yu Hojo is the expendable that represents this precept the best through his quirk and backstory. Hojo's quirk, Crystallization, allows him to create crystals from his skin, and he wears the crystals to fight both offensively and defensively. Before he had joined up with the Hassaikai, he had worked for someone who tried to sell the crystals he formed off of his body for profit, but it turned out that the crystals weren't worth anything because Hojo would actually form fake crystals that looked real. The eighth and final precept is that one must not take shelter anywhere luxurious. Hekiji Tengai is the expendable that represents this precept the most through his quirk. His quirk, Barrier, allows him to manifest an extremely durable bubble around his teammates that will protect him from any incoming attacks. He can even form one around himself, sheltering him from taking damage from any attack as well. And the little bit of information that we got about Tengai's backstory is that he was once a Buddhist himself, which is pretty funny because he is a part of the Shie Hassaikai, aka the 8 precepts of death, which is pretty funny when you think about it. As you can see, all of the 8 expendables each have their own twist on the Buddhism 8 precepts. It's important to note that these 8 precepts are usually only practiced for one day out of the year, and the no taking a life rule only really applies to taking the lives of animals. I found it so interesting how Horikoshi formed characters around the 8 precepts and Buddha through their personalities and their quirks. There are plenty of characters in My Hero Academia who are created and inspired by concepts in pop culture and in everyday life, but I'll save those characters for their own videos. That is all I have for today's video on Horikoshi's twisted take on Buddhism, but what do you guys think about the Shie Hassaikai and their members being formed around Buddhism? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. With that said, if you enjoyed the video, remember to Detroit smash that like button below and share this video with your friends. If you like My Hero Academia content and want to see more, then be sure to subscribe to the channel to join the Showbob's Hero Academia to become my hero. You can also follow me on Twitter at Showbobs5, where we can just talk about My Hero and anime all day long. With that said, stay plus ultra, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.